Creating a false sense of security by approaching indirectly is a fundamental tactic in seduction. Direct pursuit can often trigger a target's defenses, creating resistance or suspicion. An indirect approach allows the seducer to move gradually, subtly, and often under the radar of the target's conscious awareness, crafting a connection that feels both natural and disarming. By positioning oneself as non-threatening and initially avoiding overt displays of attraction, the seducer diffuses any potential tension, allowing the target to relax and even become receptive without realizing they're being led down a path of deepening attachment. The psychology behind an indirect approach lies in understanding the power of gradual influence. When a seducer initially presents themselves as merely a friend, confidant, or casual acquaintance, the target doesn't feel pressured to perform or reciprocate immediately. This safe position can be especially effective with those who are more guarded, independent, or skeptical of romantic intentions. These individuals often interpret any bold approach as a sign of manipulation, feeling that their autonomy or control is threatened. Instead, they respond to subtlety, preferring interactions that develop organically rather than being pushed into place. The indirect method gives the seducer the chance to study the target more thoroughly, picking up on subtle preferences and habits that will shape the rest of the seduction. By creating an atmosphere of comfort and ease, the seducer lays the groundwork for future influence. This can be achieved by displaying genuine interest in the target's thoughts, stories, and experiences, making them feel seen and understood without any overt romantic pressure. Often, the seducer will allow the target to take the conversational lead, asking questions that encourage self-revelation while they listen with sincere interest. In doing so, the seducer gains invaluable insights into the target's vulnerabilities, unfulfilled desires, and inner conflicts, information that will later be used to build a bond on a deeper level. The indirect approach also benefits from an element of ambiguity, a sense of mild uncertainty that keeps the target's interest piqued without raising their guard. For instance, a seducer might engage in flirtation that's subtle enough to be passed off as friendly banter, allowing the target to interpret it as either playful or potentially meaningful, depending on their comfort level. This ambiguity allows the seducer to plant the seeds of attraction while giving the target the illusion of control. The target begins to wonder if there is something more, creating a slow-burn curiosity and mild tension that builds over time. Another layer of the indirect approach is to make oneself useful or supportive in a way that feels mutually beneficial, establishing trust and familiarity. This tactic works particularly well with targets who are going through challenges or significant life transitions. A seducer who steps in as a reliable friend, offering advice or assistance with no apparent ulterior motive, cultivates a sense of loyalty in the target. The target begins to associate the seducer with comfort and stability, two qualities that, in time, may transform into emotional dependence. When the seducer later reveals romantic intentions, it may feel almost inevitable, as if the relationship had been blossoming organically all along. Timing is essential in maintaining the indirect approach. If the seducer moves too quickly or reveals their intentions prematurely, they risk unsettling the delicate trust they've been building. Instead, they must pace the interaction in a way that deepens the target's emotional involvement without tipping their hand. This means choosing moments to withdraw slightly, letting the target experience a hint of absence or uncertainty that subtly intensifies their need for the seducer's presence. When done effectively, this rhythm of connection and mild distance creates a magnetic pull that draws the target closer, with the seducer as the seemingly safe, intriguing figure. Building this false sense of security is also about aligning oneself with the target's values, beliefs, and lifestyle, making the seducer seem like someone who genuinely gets them. Through mirroring, whether in language, mannerisms, or opinions, the seducer fosters a sense of similarity that can be deeply reassuring to the target. When a person sees their own values reflected in another, they feel validated and appreciated, which in turn builds a sense of trust. The seducer becomes an appealing presence, one who feels familiar and safe, someone the target wants to be around without necessarily knowing why. In this way, An indirect approach is a slow but sure path to deepening interest and attachment. It bypasses resistance and suspicion by focusing on the target's comfort and emotional needs first, letting romantic or sexual tension simmer beneath the surface. The seduction process, rather than feeling like a series of intentional moves, seems to unfold naturally, almost as if it were mutual and unplanned. When the seducer finally reveals their interest, it doesn't shock the target, but rather aligns with the trust and connection that have already taken root. By building this sense of safety and rapport, the seducer not only earns the target's affection, but also lays the groundwork for a powerful, transformative bond that feels as inevitable as it is enticing.